All right, let's talk about November's DC Comics Solicits. It is full of things and tidbits and lots of new stuff that we're going to get
Mhm.
into here. Last month's were also pretty eventful. I mean, October had a bunch of things. For a start, Hill House is back with a book in October, Matt, so that's pretty cool.
Ooh,
There was a sequel
yeah,
to Basket Full of Heads called Refrigerator Full of
refrigerator.
Heads,
Oh,
which is very apt for DC, given that the
mhm.
whole term of fridging came from a DC comic after all. So yeah, so they've kind of organized this neatly. Although the first two aren't actually issue, like it isn't a new series. We're starting with issue two, but still, it's they're highlighting this Batman the Imposter issues 2 and 3. Um,
Mhm.
although that said, issue 3 is an advanced solicitation for December. This is not double shipping in November. That is
Right.
important to note. But this is a Black Label book. This is the Mattson Tomlin, Andrea Sorrentino 3 issue book. I'm not sure why they're advanced soliciting. I think there's a few of these throughout the solicits. I wonder if it's just because it's the Christmas month and they're making those solicits be as late as possible
Yeah.
for ordering's sake. That's my only reason I can think of. But beautiful covers. Obviously, we won't be able to try this
Huh.
until October, so
Right. It's Sorrentino covers, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So
The other one. Yeah.
very, very
Those are
pretty.
very good covers.
Next, we have a book that we did mention last week on the podcast because it was announced a little bit earlier, and that is the Jock Batman Black Label book called One Dark Night, and it's all the power goes out in Gotham over the course of the story. It's a three issue Black Label book, oversized issues, of course, the Prestige Plus format. I mean, I don't know what Jock's like as a writer, but Jesus, I'm excited to see what these pages look like.
I mean, if you think that he's absorbed anything by the people he's worked with, he's got to be somewhat decent. So,
I do love the concept of the book as well. I love
mhm.
the idea of a power, like a blackout, and
Yeah.
Gotham for a night. And it's all set in one night as Batman's dealing with whatever's going on. That sounds
Uh,
like a lot of fun.
yeah. I know they're going with the Dark Knight play, but leaving the K off at night, I think it would have just worked too. You know, subvert the naming conventions. You know.
I mean, it works either way. I mean, it has the double meaning either way. So,
Yeah.
I can roll with it. And then you get Batman 116 and 117, which is Fear State's final two
Hmm.
issues. Um, I suppose. Did we talk about this now? Did we talk about the big Tynion news here?
If you want to, I mean, I don't know when else. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe at the end of the Batman solicits, if you want to go that way.
We'll throw it in here because
Okay.
117 is Tynan's last issue of Batman. That's
Yeah.
kind of the lead in. I think it's perfect for it. I think his Joker book, he is going to be writing Joker up till
Yeah.
14, which is like April, if I remember right.
Which is where he was planning on stopping anyways, I think he
Mm.
said. So,
Yeah, we'll see
um,
if they cancel the book or if they just give it a new
yeah.
direction and team or whatever.
Well, he does have a co-writer on it, doesn't he?
He has a co-writer on the backup. He doesn't. I don't think he has a co-writer on the
Okay.
main story.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this is kind of a big thing, and it's not even just a Tynion story either. There's other comic creators that are following in his footsteps,
Hmm.
but basically he was offered a 3 year extension because his exclusive contract for DC is coming up at the end of the year, and he was offered 3 years, which included primarily a lot of Batman. Like the idea being that not necessarily that he would be writing the main Batman book for another 3 years,
No.
but certainly for a lot of it, if not all of it,
Yeah.
he might be writing that main book. And he turned it down. He decided he wanted to go creator owned instead. Obviously, he's got several creator owned books. Obviously,
Hmm.
one's Black Label, if that still technically
Right.
counts. But he also has an image book. He has 2 Boom books. And he's instead signed a deal with Substack. And of course, when I heard this, I immediately went, "What the hell is Substack? I have never heard of this."
And as someone that subscribes to newsletters, I instantly recognize that as like, oh, that's where the newsletter email comes from.
Mm. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a Patreon meets newsletter
Yeah.
format. But Substack are apparently going to get into comic books, indie comic books, creator-owned comic books, and I'm not sure if what this means for like physical releases or anything like that later down the line, or if that's part of the whole deal or whatever. But basically, Tiny and some other creators are going to be moving to Substack as a way to release their content and completely own their content. which is interesting. And obviously, you know, if you care about the creator, and in this case, we obviously do, because Tynion's sort of built up a name for himself, and you know, to just check out our conversations on Nice House by the Lake to see that that extends beyond just him writing Batman or writing other DC characters. What was interesting though is I saw Tynion put out a newsletter today. I didn't read the whole thing, but I sort of skimmed it and read a couple of relevant parts. He acknowledges that there's some people he doesn't like that use his Substack, but the reason why he wants to switch to that and why he's also kind of basically leaving Twitter soon is because it doesn't operate on an algorithm like a lot of other social media does. It isn't designed to keep redirecting you to certain voices you don't want to hear, or to sort of pile on, like, you know, you've unraveled one little thread, so it'll keep sending you down a sort of darker path into more conspiracy theories or into stuff that makes the social media platform money. It's a bit more, you know, you go to Substack, you go to the ones you want, and it never tries to, at least as far as I know, I've never used Substack. I'm just going based on what he said.
Yeah, I only know it based off of getting those newsletters through Substack. So that's how I knew it. So I had no idea it was even like a Patreon thing. You know, like,
well, I mean, I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know if it is a Patreon-like subscription where you'll just get the issues they put out in a month, whether that be 2 or 3, presumably of different books from different artists, or if it's just like do they just sell the issues one by one, like you'd be buying them on Comixology anyway? Is it that simple? Is it just, here's a $4 book, you just pay it directly to them, and they make more of the cut, and therefore they're making more money out of it, and that's cool, I guess. It's kind of this interesting thing, because obviously these creators have got big enough followings where they can do this and they'll probably make a killing by now making a bigger cut of the profit.
When you think about it, that's what the Image guys did back in the 90s. You know, they went and did the creator and stuff. One of the guys I follow on Twitter was talking about how this is a bad idea, and the only reason that he says it's a bad idea is that he just got done ghostwriting a book about this kind of thing. So I don't know. I have an open mind to it. It's whatever works for them. You know, I don't read much of Tynion's creator and stuff. Like, Nice House is through DC, so that makes it easy. But like, I haven't read Department of Truth or anything, because that's the stuff that I'm going to end up trade waiting. But no, so like with how Substack's going to work, like you said, is it going to be like Comixology? Is it going to be like what's that company where you can either buy the trade or you can buy the singles?
Oh, TKO.
Yeah, TKO. Is it going to be something more like that? I don't know. Nobody really knows as of right now.
Yeah, are they going to go? Are they just going to like make like graphic novels that are already done, so you just buy it in one big go,
right?
Or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
are they going to even have a physical component? Like,
that's the other question.
Printing, because printing, I know, takes up a big cost. So.
I wonder if it's a case of there will be like a trade and stuff like that. Maybe that's something they license out to an Image or something. But
Image, Boom, one of them.
Yeah,
you know.
But at the same time, though, I don't know if that's like part of the deal, because I know like he's signed a contract with Substack, and maybe Substack don't want them being re-released in other formats. Maybe they just want it to be exclusive. So. And maybe this is all buried in Tynion's newsletter. I mean, Connor's the one who actually reads it all the way through, so he's the one who would know this.
He reads it letter by letter. Like, he was very upset that he wasn't going to be here to discuss this when it broke. So
yeah, so I mean, just to sort of like spin this back round to, I mean, obviously Substack's a big deal. The creators going to it's a big deal, and what other creators might it lure away. But I think from a DC perspective, since this is a DC podcast, we're losing Tynion. We're losing Tynion on Batman. We're losing Tynion in general, at least for now. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's gone forever. Like, he might get the itch to do some superhero stuff later down the line, but at least for now, he's thirsty to go make his own name for himself.
Did you see some other website, who will not be named, claimed that DC's actively trying to get Donny Cates to come over to take over for Batman? And Donny Cates tweeted, he's like, "I've heard rumors of DC talking to me, and if true, that'd be great. DC, what are you offering?" Yeah. And so it's so funny that I like when names like that get brought up, and then they decide to have a little bit of fun with that. And it makes comics kind of fun, like, you know, not to diverge into wrestling, but like,
I know where you're going with this.
Well, no, just like no, not that. But it's like when there are people that can pop up at any time. Right, it does make it more so. Like when Donny Cates, who's really only done Marvel, the idea of him coming to DC, or Jason Aaron coming to DC, or Tynion going to Marvel, just that kind of stuff kind of excites me as a comic fan just to see what they would do with those characters, you know. Um, so yeah, who knows at this point? Like, it seems to me like DC's prepping a new generation right now.
Well,
That Tom Taylor is kind of the
But I think that's the big thing, though, is I think I actually put it on our Twitter at DC Comics Podcast for anyone who's not following us. I put it on our Twitter just like 2 weeks ago saying, hey, you know, if the Mount Rushmore of DC Comics right now, this generation, I put down Tynion, Taylor, and Ram V and said, who's the fourth? And people were saying Williamson, some people were saying King, and so on. So, I mean, we were considering Tynion as one of these, like, spearheading, mainly because he was in charge of the Gotham corner of the world, but we're losing him. So, you know, we're left with Taylor and Williamson. They seem to still be on board for the foreseeable future, which is great.
Yeah.
But
and they're both doing their things too.
But I don't think we could pretend that this isn't like a bit of a blow in terms of, like, you know, a big creator
huge.
to lose.
It is like for wrestling. This is them losing a main eventer.
Yes.
You know, so you know, and it's like CM Punk always said that he's just a spoke on the wheel, and the wheel's going to keep turning. You know. And he'll pop up years later on a brand that was never supposed to happen. Oh, this long story short, Tynion is the CM Punk of comics. That's how we do it. That's for the segue.
I'm just imagining David sitting there waiting for this to finish so he can do the splice, because he can edit this down for the individual segments.
Yeah.
And just pulling his hair out. Sorry, David.
Right. So we talked Tynion. We're back on to
back to Solicits. Yeah, so Fear State finishes with Batman 117, which is the finale of sorts. There's a one shot as well, which we haven't got to yet, but we'll see. I don't know if Tynion's writing that too. We'll find out in a minute, I guess. Arkham City: Order of the World issue 2. This was something that popped up in October Solicits, and I was very excited because it's intentionally channeling Arkham Asylum. With the font and the titling style, they're really going for that, you know, harkening back to that. But this is a 6-issue mini by Dan Waters and Danny, and what little I've read from Dan Waters has been pretty solid. So I'm intrigued.
Connor will be excited. He likes Dan Waters.
Yeah, he likes Dan Waters. Yeah,
I like Danny's art, so that's a win.
Yeah, I'm really excited about seeing this. And there's definitely a lot of Bat books on these Solicits. They're clearly playing to what they know sells, but most of them look really good. It's hard to deny that they look good.
I used to fight it all the time, and I just can't anymore. I get it. I have to find stuff in Batman that I do enjoy, like this. You know, I like Dick Grayson and, you know, Oracle, and so The Outsiders, another one, but. Yeah. I saw someone do the Solicits, and they did the DC logo, and there's an asterisk, and it said, you know, mostly Batman, though, and it cracked me up.
Yeah, Batman Urban Legends issue 9 is coming out, and much like October's issue 2, the stories are Fear State tie-ins, which, again, I think it's a fun use of that book, to have some extra little Fear State stories with characters who aren't in the main books as much. So that's kind of neat. One's Outsiders, one's Batwoman. And then there's an Azrael story that's separate, and a Tweedledee and Tweedledum story, of all things.
So we don't know who's doing who, then, right? I'm sure Brandon Thomas is doing the Outsiders. So is that Dan Waters then doing the Azrael story?
Maybe. Assuming they're in order, and the way they've listed the credits there. Yeah, I would assume that. You got I Am Batman issue 3. This is the John Ridley, the Jace, next Batman. We got Harley Quinn issue 9 coming out. Also tied into Fear State. They're doing a good job with all the Bat books, kind of like feeling connected right now.
Yeah, this feels like the last time I can remember them doing this was the not quite Joker War, because that was a little bit more pared down. But back at the beginning of Rebirth, the Night of the Monsters, you know, they had the banner.
Yeah.
That's pretty effective.
Likewise, we have another Batman Secret Files. This one is the Gardener issue 1. It is a Poison Ivy related story. Tynion actually has got a story by credit, so that's neat. So
also a cover by Tynion.
Really?
Did you see that? It says cover by James Tynion IV.
Is that a mistake?
Yeah, it's got to be. Hey, if not, good for him.
I hope the next Tom King book's a cover by Tom King. So we got Catwoman issue 37. Again, tying in somewhat to Fear State and still dealing with some Poison Ivy stuff by the looks of it as well. So that's neat.
Yeah.
We got Nightwing 86. Some really cool stuff coming up in that book, which I'm excited about based on the teases on Twitter and the fact that we have Cass, Steph, and Tim all in the cover for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I am delighted by that. We got Detective Comics 1045, also tying into Fear State. This is Tamaki and Dan Mora on this issue, so that is cool. You know what? With Tynion leaving Batman, I hope Tamaki's on Detective for a long time because I am loving her run. Task Force Z issue 2. Again, this was one that started last month, and the Solicits. Again, they're doing a really good job of having everything kind of be like connected and sticking together. So here we go. This was the kind of the finale issue for Fear State that I was mentioning because we know we're getting the Alpha lead-in issue this month. So in November on the 5th week, so it's a 5th week book on the annual week. We're getting Fear State Omega, issue 1, which is wrapping things up, and it is Tynion who's writing this. So this is basically so as much as it 117 is his last Batman issue, this is really the end of his Batman run. Is this this oversized issue? Which is fair. It makes sense. So that's very neat. Obviously, I've been enjoying the build up to it. And spinning out of that, we're getting a mini-series called Robins. Robins issue 1 by Tim Seeley, with art by Baldemar Rivas. And it features all 5 Robins, it said. Is that Steph in the back?
Yeah, it's Steph.
Oh,
she
nice.
was a Robin. So that means they've canonically restored her time as Robin. Which is cool.
A-okay with that.
Yeah.
A-okay. Admittedly, I want a Batgirl's book more than I want a Robin's book. But
maybe one leads to the other.
Yeah, I'll take it. So
and there's a Babs Tar variant they're not showing. I really want to know what that looks like.
We always have all the covers ready for Solicits, so obviously.
No, I know, but just to tease Bab Tar. And yeah.
And now we have another Black Label book that's starting in November by Jeff Lemire. It's called Robin and Batman, with issue 1 coming November. There's also an advance solicit for December's issue 2 as well. So Dustin Wynn on the art, so you can see the Dustin Wynn covers there. Issue 2's cover, I think, is quite nice.
Yeah, with the circus and what looks like Killer Croc.
Yeah, I'll read the description for this one because this is legendary story of Batman and Robin has reached nearly mythic proportions. The crime-fighting dynamic duo always one step ahead of the criminals they pursue and never meeting a case too big. This isn't that story. This is a story of a young Dick Grayson, newly orphaned, struggling to find out his way in a strange, difficult, dark new world. This is a story of Robin and Batman. So this is a maybe not quite a Robin year 1, but an early days Dick Grayson as Robin story, which is just cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one of 3. So that this should be a nice trade when it's all done. You know.
Yeah. So
one of the ones that you can hand somebody and be like, "Here, you like the idea of Robin? Enjoy this."
I suspect so, and if we're lucky, it might even go nicely after, say, either Dark Victory or Robin Year 1. Like maybe it'll nicely not line up completely continuity wise, but be close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, that you can sort of say, hey, after you read Dark Victory, you read Batman Year 1, you read Long Halloween, you read Dark Victory, and then you read this Robin and Batman book by Lemire. That'd be kind of a cool thing to get people into comics. Next up, there is one of these big $10 prestige anthology books called Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant issue 1. So this seems to be like one of these big anniversary issues, but instead of giving each of these more smaller villain characters who are hitting like 80 years, they're just doing like a collection shared amongst a bunch of them.
And you get a story, and you get a story.
Yeah, because I'm seeing Red Hood, Mad Hatter, and I think Firefly there on the cover.
On that one, yeah. And it says in the solicit, you got Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, the Mad Hatter, Killer Moth, and the original Red Hood. However, Ra's didn't come until the 70s.
And Talia is obviously even later than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they just counting it from over the oldest villain is? Alright, they've hit 80. everyone else.
Scarecrow and Poison Ivy both came around in 1941. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. Whatever. Is that on the week 5? Like it should be. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's nice. Like it's a good week for it.
Mhm.
So then we have a new Tom Taylor book to talk about. So this was announced. Yeah, this was announced this week. It's called Dark Knights of Steel, issue 1. I want to joke here for a second, actually, because when he was teasing he was about to announce something, he put out the initials, and someone said, give us what one of the words stands for, and he cropped out the word of. The O stands for of.
I love that man. What's funny is I followed him on Facebook just as a lark, and now I get notifications when he's talking in threads, which is just weird because it's almost like he's an actual friend of mine. Instead of just a writer that I'm obsessed with. So
that's that algorithm. It's that algorithm that Tynion's trying to get away from.
It is. So it's very funny, but he's always very nice and complimentary. And
oh, sure, yeah.
But the interesting thing here for me was he said that he's not a horror guy, despite Deceased and having a flair for being able to write horror, but he loves fantasy. So this is, he's combining superheroes and fantasy. And
so basically, this is a true test, because if I like this book, then Tom Taylor's my love of Tom Taylor's work can transcend my apathy for fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, what is he already? He's already got you to like Red Hood. Right?
That's true. That's true. So, he's pulled off some pretty impressive feats thus far. I will say that the main cover is quite nice, with like the L's, Superman's parents, in the background.
Okay. The cover that came up for me was the Batman on the horse.
I think that's the variant, yeah. The main one's
right.
the next one over.
Yeah.
So this is Yasmin Putri on art. It's a 12-issue mini. I'll just read the text here so you can judge this for yourself. An entire medieval world will be forever changed when a spaceship crash lands from a doomed planet. Monarchs will die, kingdoms will rise, and what seemed to be the end of the world for many was only the beginning. An epic high fantasy story set in a DC universe where nothing is what it seems. So this is basically the fantasy equivalent of like when Marvel did their 1602 or whatever that was.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yep. Also, he has a flair for the Elseworlds, because this would have been an Elseworlds back in the day.
Oh sure, yeah.
So, and between this and Deceased, like Tom Taylor he's really good at playing outside the lines. So,
I think it's notable as well that this is not a Black Label book. This is just the regular DC mainline, obviously Elseworlds, effectively, but in the mainline pricing and age rating. Right. So that's cool. I think maybe that's just because Taylor's books appealed to the wide teen market, so they want to keep his books in that demographic. So no, that's neat. I'm not a fantasy guy, but I will try anything Tom Taylor writes. I will give it a fair shake, and I'll see how I feel. Maybe he can work his magic.
Yeah.
But neat. All right, and Dark Knights of Steel issue 2, advanced solicit for December. Again, there's a lot. Not the main book, so you'll notice there's Batman, Action, Detective. They're not getting advanced solicits, but all of the Black Label stuff seems to be, and the minis seem to be getting those. Justice League Incarnate issue 1. So this is spinning out of Infinite Frontier. This is a 5-issue miniseries. The first issue seems to be oversized. I don't know if that's going to be continuing. And when I say oversized, it's 10 extra pages as opposed to the regular. It's not that big, but so this is Joshua Williamson and Dennis Culver with art by Andrea Besson and Brandon Peterson, and this is obviously the team that we see a fair bit of in the Infinite Frontier book with President Superman, and the rest of the gang. So yes.
Damn it! Why did I read the solicit?
Did you spoil something?
I did for myself. Well, I mean, it's not a major spoil, but like, if you don't want to be spoiled, guys, don't read the solicit.
Oh. Yeah, I just looked at it. It's.
I told you not to.
I know, but you said it, and now I feel like I need to be on even footing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no specifics, but it does kind of like tell you something about the ending of Infinite Frontier if you read the solicit for that. So I won't read it out loud. I won't read it out loud, but yeah.
Something that I was very invested in, and still am. But
yes.
What got me here in the solicits, they do list characters that that pop up that I saw China's Flash from Earth Zero, and that's that's Williamson's what's her name? I'm drawing a blank. 4 Hours of Sleep here.
Yeah, for Avery, was it?
Avery, thank you. I kept wanting to say Everly, and I'm like, it's not Everly. Don't say Everly. Avery. And so the fact that Williamson created her in Flash and pulling her over to Incarnate, so
That's neat.
like seeing that name pop up there, it's really cool.
Yeah, you got Captain Carrot, you got Mary Marvel from Ever Earth, that Mary Marvel's from, and so on.
Yeah.
So obviously this is neat. I've been enjoying Infinite Frontier. Obviously, we'll talk about today's issue or this week's issue a little bit later. But yeah, I'm down for something more that spins out of that, especially since it feels like Williamson is sort of like building a overall narrative that's not just the current mini. It's clearly something that there's like a more of a long term game plan with. So I'm excited to see that. We have a new Wonder Woman book. Is this Black Label? I don't know if I'm seeing the Black Label. I don't think it is. So this is Wonder Woman Evolution issue 1. Written by Stephanie Phillips and art and cover by Mike Hawthorne. And we've had mixed feelings. When I say we, I just mean like across the podcast, because I think you and Connor were both fairly into Stephanie Phillips for a couple of stories, and then he's been quite down on the Harley Quinn after a couple issues. So, but this is an 8-issue mini by Stephanie Phillips. I'll just read the text here, see what it's about. Whisked away from Earth by a distant cosmic entity, Wonder Woman is forced to navigate a series of perilous challenges that push her into the brink of both mentally and physically. At stake is the fate of all humanity, with the alien entities casting Diana as Earth's proxy for a trial judging humankind's worthiness to exist in the universe. Can Diana stand trial to save humanity without losing her own? Do you know, obviously, I'll give this a try in the sense that I think that's a really cool sounding concept. It's like a very Star Trek Next Generation sounding concept with Wonder Woman, honestly. I will say, though, I don't know Mike Hawthorne by name, but looking at that cover, although admittedly, I think, that's Riley Rosmo.
That's Rosmo, my guy.
Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm not that worried.
Cover's the one next over.
I mean, I don't love that cover, but it's definitely better than the Rosmo one.
Yeah. I automatically I checked out when I saw the Rosmo art, and then I saw Hawthorne, so then I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
All right. Well, I'll give it a try then. Yeah, so Wonder Woman mini. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more minis. We're seeing a lot more minis pop up. Then next up, this is an advanced solicit for December, their usual Christmas anthology, which we'll probably skip, I imagine. But this is "'Tis the Season to Be Freezing," which is a fun title. I'll give it that much. I know it won't be, right, but this really should. Oh, actually, no. Now I'm looking at the text. It might be what I think it is. Hold on. Okay. So what I was going to say is that this should be an anthology where every story is a cold-based villain. Now I'm seeing some names in the text. I'm going to read this text and find out if it's exactly what I want it to be. On the weather outside, the weather outside is freezing, but these stories sure are pleasing. So since you've no place to go, why not grab a sweater, pour a cup of hot cocoa, and stoke the fire? Because these 10 tales are sure to lower the mercury. Join us as Harley Quinn and Blue Snowman ice out Hawkman, Batman fights Cold-Hearted Mr. Freeze, the GLQ don't stand a snowball's chance against Minister Blizzard, and Flash and Superman team up to chill out Captain Cold. So warm your holiday heart with these freezing feats of frosty fiction. Now, that was only like 4 stories out of 10. So, Cold Snap has to be in this, right?
Yeah, well, if Minister Blizzard is and Cold Snap's not, then there's a problem.
I mean, who have they left out? They've left out Icicle, Cold Snap, I guess Icicle Jr. if you want to separate.
Well, Killer Frost.
Killer Frost, but she's a hero now, but she's still have a story, sure.
Well, you could do a story with her, though.
Maybe Nora Freeze will get her story. Yeah. Oh, man. It's like they're appealing just to us with this. They're like saying, hey, here's a story with all the Freeze villains. Oh, that's funny. All right, okay, next up.
Once I saw Minister Blizzard when I skimmed it, I went, oh, Pete's gonna love this.
So, next up, Batman Superman Authority Special Issue 1. And this is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing, so this presumably might tie in a little bit to the ongoing Action Comic stuff, maybe? So, art by Trevor Hairsine and Jonathan Glaplian and Ben Templesmith. following Mongols' attack on a this is I don't want to read the rest of it. I don't want spoilers just in case,
Yeah.
but this is relating to Mongols, so it is relating to Action Comics and what's been going on. So okay, that's interesting. Whereas that first Grant Morrison issue of his book, or sorry, their book, was just kind of okay. This seems more interesting.
Right. Well, I just think that PKJ appeals to us a little bit more than Morrison does.
That's fair. Yes.
So.
Yes, PKJ. Is that what we're going with now?
That's what shorthand on Twitter. So that's what I'm just calling him for now.
Okay, PKJ. So we do have a 5th week in November, so there are some annuals. Not surprising. We actually have Batman 2021 annual by Tynion. Okay, so this is out the same day as the Omega thing, so I guess they're both the end of his Batman. We'll have to get a reading order. We need to know what the reading order is.
This though is just a continuation of the Ghostmaker backup.
Oh no. So, okay, well in that case I might skip this, but
yeah. So.
I mean, at least he's getting to finish that story too. He's finishing the Ghostmaker story. Congratulations.
Which is good because I realized this when I was reading Batman last week. This is just the Almost Got Him, but for Ghostmaker, which is my favorite Batman the Animated Series episode, where all the villains are around talking about the time they almost got Batman. And so it's cool that Tynion did that, one of those for Ghostmaker, his own creation, who I still don't like, but it's not as annoying as at the beginning.
Yeah, it's probably a fair, an easy skip. But I do like the idea that an ongoing story and an annual and a backup will get an annual issue to itself. I think that's kind of neat for the sake of giving it a big finale. Next up, Joker 2021 annual. And I am pumped for this. So, Matt, what you didn't hear about last time I read a Joker issue is that the last issue before this one that I did today, so I think issue 5, was like a break issue for Gillen March, and it was a flashback issue with Frank Avila art, and it was phenomenal.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
I was at that.
This annual is a sequel to that issue. It's another Frank Avila issue, and it's another early Jim Gordon and Gotham story.
Yeah, and it's got Babs in the purple suit.
It's classic Batgirl. No, this looks great. I'm excited by this. I really am. So this is neat. So cool stuff. No, that's just good. That's just good news. I'm all for it. Detective Comics 2021 Annual Issue 1. I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about this because I did see that this has actually got some interesting teases for the future in it, as far as what this is setting up. So this is Tamaki writing with Matthew Rosenberg, presumably on whatever the second story is. So that's neat. I love that run's still going. But what this is a prelude to a Bat-centric story that's coming next year. It's called Shadows of the Bat. So it says, Shadows of the Bat begins here. And the prelude to the January's epic new Detective Comic event. So this is a Detective Comics-centric event from Tamaki, which is cool. Mayor Nakano is signed off on the construction of a new Arkham Tower in the heart of Gotham City.
Oh, that's a great idea, Nakano.
And the Bat family is torn. Batman has long seen Arkham as necessary, if flawed, cog in the gears of Gotham City, a temporary solution to a larger problem that in many ways mirrors his approach as Batman. Nightwing, however, who grew up watching Arkham mutate into a villain factory, believes a different approach is needed. But Bruce and Dick will need to see eye to eye on more than just Arkham Tower for a new villain known as the Meager Man. The Meager Man? Okay, I'm interested. Havoc in the streets.
He's just like, he's not all there, but he's not all the way there. He's just kind of almost there.
Honestly, I have been liking Detective even more than Batman recently, and the idea that the next big Bat-centric story is going to come from from Tamaki.
Turns out Tamaki's a really good writer, which we've kind of always known.
What's so funny is that she was so impressive with that Supergirl mini, and the little teases that we've got from like X-23, I thought her running that was really enjoyable. And her Wonder Woman was a little disappointing. It was still good, but it wasn't like up to the same standard.
So far, there hasn't been a book of her that I don't not like. Like, there's ones that you're like, okay, this wasn't as good as the other, but they're all good. So, like, the fact that they're giving her the keys to Detective to do an event that's gonna cross over with Nightwing. Like that's real good. Also, this has a variant by Jason Fabok, and I just want Jason Fabok back in my comic book life. That's all.
At the very least, like that. This ensures that Tamaki's on the book for at least another 6 issues after this. And if I can, hopefully it'll be more than that. But at least there's a whole other arc coming, so I'm happy with that. Then there's a Nightwing annual as well, Nightwing 2021 annual by Tom Taylor. So again, it's continuing the trend of having the ongoing writer still writing the annual. Cover by Nicola Scott, although the main art is by Cian Tarmy.
I think it's Kyan.
Kyan Tarmy. Okay.
It's one of those Irish names that they have the Gaelic still there.
So this is a Dick and Jason team up issue, but to be honest though, like not only has Tom Taylor proven that he can do a decent Jason Todd story, Jason Todd's having like a weird like good year where I've like 3 different Jason Todd stories. So you know what? Sure.
You've seen the memes of the my plans and then the variant.
Yeah.
You want to know what my favorite ones was?
Go on.
It was Jason Todd, and then the variant was
the
phone number to call to kill him.
Oh right, okay.
So,
the phone number.
So it's making me wonder if we're giving him a good year because he's not long for this world.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, that's funny.
It'd totally be Tom Taylor's way to be like, hey, people that don't like Jason Todd, I'm gonna write him, and I'm gonna make him a complex character that you don't have to like, but you're gonna tolerate and you're gonna like when I write him, and then I'm just gonna rip out his heart. It's very Tom Taylor.
I'm just going to say that there's more annuals here, so that villains 100-page book's looking less likely. The more annuals that we're piling up here that are actually must reads, because we got Robin.
That said, I might stop at my shop and read the Poison Ivy story in there.
Of course you will, yes.
But that's Ivy. Like, come on.
Yeah. So we got Robin.
Robin annual.
Yeah, Robin annual. This is Joshua Williamson still writing. Again, as expected, it's not the regular artist because obviously the regular artist is still working on the next issue. But
right.
So this is good.
I'm not reading the Solicits because I don't trust them. I have trust issues because of Solicits.
Yes. But it seems to feature a lot of the cast of the current book. It's called Tale of the Tape. So
that last issue was so good. I like Homeless Roz.
Were you here for that issue? I can't remember because you missed a couple.
I was not.
No, okay.
I was not.
It was a good issue. It was a good issue.
I read that issue in a hotel room in Anaheim, so that's how I know I was not. But yeah, no. Homeless Roz. Good luck. I love it.
Okay. Then we got Wonder Woman 2021 annual. Not what I have to read, but you and Connor potentially will be. Nice cover. I'll say that. There's a nice cover to that.
Oh yeah, that's a Garrett's cover.
Yeah.
That other one's real good too. The Deanda.
Oh yeah, that's very colorful. I like the colors on that.
That is almost if I don't have my phone background as Captain Carter right now, that would make a big push.
I feel like they don't give us the nice high res versions anymore to make the covers out of, or the wallpapers out of. There's a button here to maybe full screen it, but I don't want to risk like messing up my viewing.
No, I'm making a lot of headway being able to scroll without my Skype freezing, so I'm not going to do anything else.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Justice League Dark annual. So this is, I was saying earlier, the idea of the backups getting their own annuals. So that's obviously fun. This is Ram V and Dan Waters. Yep.
This next cover, I love it.
Oh, Superman. So Superman, Son of Kal-El annual issue. What is it? Do you know what? Week 5's looking really busy, surprisingly. There's a lot of annuals coming out on week 5 in November. The cover for this is great. This is Lex walking into John with his feet up on his desk. This is wonderful.
It's so disrespectful, and I love it.
Man, we get 2 oversized Tom Taylor issues this same week in November. Oh man. Speaking of Superman, Son of Kal-El, next up you've got issue 5 of that. I won't say much. I don't want to read it for spoiler's sake. I'll just say issue 5's coming. That's neat.
Yeah. Ooh, a box set. Oh. Sorry.
You're that excited by this?
Yes, well.
It's just Long Halloween year 1 and what's the other one?
Yeah, but that's as you were saying about the Robin one, right? Them selling these as a set is a good call.
Oh sure, yeah. For some reason there's a couple of trades and box sets here. Kind of up weird. and there's like a couple of a graphic novel. The collection for Rorschach is up. For some reason, there's a few things here. Strange Adventures hardcovers here. Before you get to the rest of the solicits. Yeah, so then we get to Action Comics 1037. Not much to say except super excited. Warworld Saga Part 2. Nice.
Should be said that Sam Pierre said this is his last issue, 1037, and he's moving on to do a bigger project at DC. Didn't say what it was. I mean, so he says, don't be upset. You're gonna see him, and it's something a lot bigger. So
I'll be upset if the artist who replaces him on Action though sucks.
True. I mean, I get that, but like, you know, at least seeing him do DC work, I'm okay.
At least Romita Junior's
don't
away at Marvel.
Yeah,
he's at Marvel. He's not a danger, right?
I know, but still, we're gonna keep that hushed. You know.
Okay. Aquaman: The Becoming issue 3. That's that miniseries, of course, that's been going for a couple months by this point. Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target issue 2. Obviously, that was in October Solicits issue 1. A weird, Raven the Bold style team up, but hey, why not? Why not? Admittedly, the writer doesn't make me think I'm going to love it, but I'll try it. We'll see how it is. Arkham City: The Order of the World issue 3. So this actually is the advanced solicit. We had issue 2 right at the start of the solicit. For some reason, the advanced solicit wasn't with it. It was down here. It's got a nice cover though. I'll say that much. The Dan Waters book. Batman 89 issue 4. So that'll still be going. So cool. Batman Catwoman issue 9's coming out in November.
This is the Liam Sharp issue.
It's a nice cover actually. It's a Catwoman on top of the bat signal. Got a nice vibe. Batman vs Bigsby, A Wolf in Gotham issue 3, so that's still going strong. Batman Reptilian issue 6 is wrapping up that miniseries in November. Batman The Adventures Continue season 2 issue 6.
That's a great cover by Fornes.
And then issue 7, I assume that's an advanced solicit. It is indeed for December, so that's cool. And then Batman the Detective issue 6 wrapping up the Tom Taylor miniseries in November. So that's cool too. Batman Urban Legends issue 10, which is an advanced solicit. We already had issue 9 earlier. Again, this for some reason this is down here instead. Issue 10 is an advanced solicit for December. So there's not actually a lot of stuff in the text. It doesn't give you the 4 stories like it normally does. It's just like one little paragraph. But it does mention Teenie Howard making her DC debut on a Nightwing story. So, and there's an Oracle and Batgirl's Holiday Spectacular. So yeah, I'm into some of these things. So cool. Black Manta issue 3, that's still going. Checkmate issue 6 wrapping up that miniseries. I have to say, Matt, so Checkmate was last week, I think. And I was kind of down when I was reading it because it was bumming me out that I knew parts of like stuff was spinning out of it into Justice League, which I wasn't reading anymore.
Yeah.
It was making me feel like it wasn't going to have an ending.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Right? For as high as I was on it, and someone that still begrudgingly reads Justice League.
There's so many. Yeah. There's so many new books starting like this. No, this month, but like October, November. That like it's probably going to be. It might even be an easy drop after like if I'm not feeling it like next issue. To be honest, which is a shame.
Yeah, I'm still reading it for Dark, but so I'll be picking it up, but. Yeah, the whole who is Damon Rose, and then like you found out the week before in Justice League.
I know. Yeah.
Just not good storytelling,
That was so awkward.
Like,
yeah. Crushing Lobo issue 6 coming out. That's 6 of 8. And then issue 7's also preemptively solicited for December. I mean, on the upside of that, December solicits are going to be quite short because all these preemptive solicits.
Yeah.
DC Horror presents Soul Plumber issue 2. So this is a new horror book starting in October, which I'll definitely be checking out because why wouldn't I? But not that I'm familiar with any of the people involved in this. Although I believe this is from the people behind the last podcast on the left. This was the
okay.
I think that was what the gist of this one was. So yeah, I'll check that out. Issue 3 advanced solicit for December again. DCV's Vampires issue 2. So this is Tynion. So this is a book that, of course, Tynion's name is going to be on for a while. Although he's not scripting. There was a whole backstory to this that Connor explained last month, where he came up with this concept because he didn't want to be involved in any of the 5G stuff. But then they put him on Batman when 5G fell through. So he actually had this all mapped out, and he's gave it to Matthew Rosenberg to actually write the book. So that's the how this came to be. But it sounded really fun from the description in issue 1. So no
That's
doubt
cool.
no doubt this is going to be a hoot.
I don't want to do 5G. I want to do DC versus vampires. James, all right, calm down.
Yeah, Deathstroke Inc. issue 3. Future State Gotham issue 7 is coming out, so that's still going along. Speaking of Joshua Williamson. Green Lantern issue... Oh, that's a nice cover on Green Lantern issue 8.
That's a beautiful cover.
Yeah, that's nice. Hardware season 1 issue 4. Harley Quinn the animated series Eat Bang Kill Tour issue 3. Human Target issue 2. So this was something... this is the new Tom King book that's starting in October. It's a new 12 issue book, and you know what? Tom King 12 issue series on a smaller character is perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I like that. Looks like what's her name? Fire and Ice. So that looks like we are getting Justice League International stuff.
Oh yeah, I think they're definitely in the book. Yeah, obviously they're not the main focus, but they're definitely there.
No. But like just him writing that era should be fun. That's all.
Yeah, and I think he's got another project coming up as well. Presumably once these other books that are just wrapping up are done. And
speaking of his covers, I saw one where he wrote "I'm sorry" in the corner, and I just I love that Tom King. He seems like a good guy.
Every issue of Heroes in Crisis he ever signs should have an "I'm sorry" after each time. Icon and Rocket season 1 issue 5, Justice League issue 70. Still Bendis and
So that looks
Ramsey.
like it's no longer double shipping, right?
No.
Solicit?
The only thing that's double shipping in these solicits so far is Batman,
Okay.
which is cool because it's the sort of event style thing. Justice League Infinity issue 5, Justice League Infinity issue 6 is also advanced solicited for December. Justice League Last Ride issue 7, the final issue of that's the Zarsky story, which had a decent first issue, but I fell behind because issue 2 was on a busy week and it wasn't that great to want to keep going with. Legends of the Dark Knight issue 7, Looney Tunes 263, Mad Magazine 23, Nubia and the Amazons. Why is this after the Looney Tunes? Nubia and the Amazons issue 2, and then issue 3 is advanced solicited for December. Pennyworth issue 4, Refrigerator Full of Heads. Oh, something interesting again. Is coming in November. Issue 2. Really nice cover as well, actually. It's you got that sunset in the background with the.
I am very curious because it's not Hill doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how different it's gonna feel. You know?
I really like that first book, but I'm definitely curious to see how this sort of sequel that's set in a different time period is going to fare. I'm really intrigued. Robin issue 8. Yeah, still just some. The order of these solicits is a bit weird this time. I guess they're just in alphabetical order, but they're a bit odd. Static season 1 issue 6, Suicide Squad issue 9, Suicide Squad issue 10 gets an advanced solicit. That's weird because that's a regular book, but hey, whatever. So that's for December. Suicide Squad King Shark issue 3 is coming out. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow issue 5, obviously continuing the Tom King book. Superman 78 issue 4. It's coming out in November as well. Teen Titans Academy issue 9. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 8. The Flash 776. The Joker issue 9. Joker Presents a Puzzle Box issue 4. Issue 5 of that is also advanced solicited for December. Nice House in the Lake issue 6. So many books in these solicits. Nice House in the Lake issue 6 for November. And it is worth mentioning that this is going on a 5-month break. Which wasn't always planned. That is not a surprise. This was another part of the news this week. Is that they always planned a break. There's going to be a cliffhanger at the end of this issue for that break. So,
really stringing us along, huh?
Yeah. Well, apparently it's just so to ensure that they have Martinez on the whole.
No, I know that, but I'm sure the cliffhanger is going to be a huge,
Swamp Thing issue 9 is it, which is really sad because issue 10 is the last one. So.
Yeah.
You got that Titans United issue 3, which is a book I forgot existed, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Wonder Girl issue 7. Oh, that's a nice cover, actually. Simple cover, but nice cover.
And then the one after it's also very nice.
The variant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got Wonder Woman Black and Gold issue 6. Then Wonder Woman 781. And that's out of the trades. Oh, we're done. Finally.
Well,
Finally.
Star Superman's getting a deluxe.
Yeah, I'm pleased they're still doing like the Cape Crusader collections, which is like that post-crisis Batman era of just Batman issues.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice that they're still that going up to Volume 6. So that's kind of neat. So that keeps going. So yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. How they collected in Urban Legends Volume 1. That's actually kind of an intriguing batch. How many?
Yeah. Now, do you think they're gonna put it in order, right? So like all the stories are in order, or do you think
Matt,
they'll just
your mic is going? It looks like it's only the Zarsky and Rosenberg stories, just based on the credits.
Oh snap!
It might just be those 2 6-issue, or 6 and 5
that
issue.
makes sense.
So yeah, I wonder if that means it's going to be like an anthology style for Volume 2, or are all those little stories in the middle going to be collected with relevant later stories that they're going to lead into, maybe. That's interesting. That's interesting to see how they'll collect that. But yeah, so okay. Neat. There you go. Finally, that is us. That is November's epic solicits. A lot of interesting stuff in there, and a lot of books that I think are quite interesting.